This is Visualize and Create Video Podcast. I'm your host, Martine Cadet, and you're tuning in because you probably have been here before, or maybe because this is your first time and you love this concept of visualizing and creating. I'm excited to have you. I hope that you stay till the end. Let's get started. You are listening on your favorite podcast provider or perhaps watching this show on your big TV screen. Regardless, I'm excited to have you. My name is Martine Cadet, and I am the host of the Visualize and Create show. You will be able to meet amazing individuals that are going to inspire you, motivate you, and give you the tools for you to visualize and create whatever it is that you want. Make sure you check out the show notes and share this with a friend. Welcome to another episode of the Visualize and Create Video Podcast. My name is Martine Cadet. I am your host. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not your first time, thank you so much again for tuning in. In today's episode, we are going to continue this conversation with you in regarding creating what you're visualizing every single day in all areas of your life. But particularly with my guest today, she's going to dive in her expertise. And I know by the end of this episode, you will have the tools, the motivation, whatever it is that you're missing in order for you to take action, which will include checking the show notes and connecting with my guest. And today we have Deb on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Martine, for having me. So, my name is Deb Schell. I'm the founder of Find Calm Here, LLC. I started this consultancy in 2020 to help leaders build, launch, and grow an online community with ease and grace through identifying a community concept, designing a community strategy, and identifying the perfect community structure that's going to align with a leader's lifestyle design desires, like how they want to live every day, based on the ethics of finding calm. So that is a little bit about me. I've been doing online work since 2020 and helping businesses in the US, in Europe, in the UK, Mexico, and Canada.
Oh, amazing. And for you watching and listening, I do have to share with you the backstory of my connection with Deb. And so I found out about her amazing community and what she helps people with calm at Podfest. Podfest is a conference that happens every year, and I believe they even have online events that they run. And this past conference, I had the opportunity to meet Deb. And from this point on, we've stayed connected. And now she's here. And I'm super excited that we are going to be talking about community building. It's so key. And listen, even if you're not in business or you're thinking of going into business, or perhaps you are in business and you're thinking, how can I scale? How can I do this? The word community is definitely a word that I personally believe, because it's helped my business, to have in the mix of all the things that you do on a daily basis with your business. But before we get Deb to help you out with this whole community and understanding why it's so important, I really truly want you, Deb, to share with us what made you want to start that back in 2020.
So I left my corporate life and decided I wanted to venture as a creator. I've been a photographer and creator, writer for most of my life. For over 20 years, I've been doing writing and creative endeavors. And so I wanted to connect and help people better connect online after doing in-person events and then shifting to virtual events in 2020 during the pandemic, and realized that I think so many people needed to feel some calm in their life. But what happened was I wasn't really feeling calm, trying to learn all of the tech, trying to figure out and navigate how to build an online community, how to get people interested in an idea, the community concept that I had, and bring them in to an online community and ask them to participate and share. There's definitely challenges I experienced there, a lot of difficult decisions I needed to make. But ultimately, because of the presence that I was providing online through social media, a lot of people who were creators, leaders, speakers, authors, podcasters, they all kind of were like, "Oh, Deb's got this community thing down. Like, what's that about?" So I ended up getting asked to help people build these online communities, and I framed it around this finding calm idea because I think that's what a lot of business owners would love to feel, that they think it's impossible probably a lot of the time because, sometimes we quit a corporate job or a 9 to 5 job, and then all of a sudden we're working 40 or 80 or 70 or whatever it is hours a week, and, it can seem very overwhelming to have just another thing, to add to the mix in your busy day. So I think that's why, um, the structure and the simplicity that I bring to helping leaders in get the clarity, validation, and their strategy together to launch in a simplistic way, allows them the ability to find a little bit of calm, enjoy their life, in other aspects. And of course, we have to live. So there's lots of other things in life that we're doing besides being online. So at being able to do those things is a big part of it.
I love that. I love that. And a lot of people that may be listening or watching, one of you might be one of them listening right now and saying, "Okay, I get it, community. Can you just explain to me why it's so important that so many entrepreneurs and you shared podcasters, speakers are like, Deb, I need your help to create my community." Why is community such an important aspect to have, right? And we're talking business, but I truly believe in anything, right? The fact that you have a community you could go to is important. Why is that?
I think it's helpful whenever you have a product or service as a business owner, or if you want to create a way to connect on a larger scale with people. Community is the key, right? There's the meetup was the original OG of community, and they created thousands of meetups all over the globe based on the fact that people wanted to connect around similar interests or identities or goals or challenges, whether it's to help you increase your mobility by moving more and joining a hiking group, whether it's participating in a dialogue around how to change the economy or political change or social change. A lot of it's been social change in the last 2 years. That's how these communities have gathered together and rallied and really inspired the world to kind of step up in different areas. And so, in speaking with business owners who want to increase or add additional revenue streams, because a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners know the importance of diversification of income, and that if they've been a coach or a leader for quite a while, maybe they're burnt out on doing the one-to-one consultancy or coaching one-to-one, and they want to do a group program where they can help 20 or 30 people at a time or more people. Um, that's an opportunity for people. If you don't have an audience yet, building a community can help you identify maybe where it is you want to go with this journey. Maybe you join a community just to be a member of a community. That's how I started initially, was I was a member of an online community, who I met people from all around the world to help me quit my 9 to 5 job and become location independent. And from 2.5 years of being in there in that community, I met them in person in Denver. I got on a plane, arrived, and hung out with people I've never met before, and it felt like I was like, these were my people, as soon as I landed. And that kind of led me to saying, this community thing is very impactful in so many ways. Like you said, it's not just, you know, it's important to know what your goal is if you want to start an online community or if you want to just be a community enhancer. There's different ways to be a part of a community, so it doesn't mean you have to. Our conversation doesn't mean you should go start a community. It really actually means think about how a community has impacted your life in the past, how it might help you in the future. I can tell you, as somebody who's joined a mindfulness community in the last year that helps me work through my stress, anxiety, and depression, that was pivotal and important to learn the tasks and tools and just the resources and be able to implement them in my life with the support of people that kept me accountable.
Hmm. And you were feeling safe in there, and you still do, right? Showing up in that community. And so I know,
Off of so yes, off of social media. That's a good point to say where you're talking about social media is not called community that in this essence that I'm talking about is an off of social media on private channels where you can have a safe space, bringing in specific ideal members that have a specific goal or want to achieve something together because they know they don't want to do it alone.
I love that. This is a perfect segue to what exactly I wanted to touch on, because you're an expert in that. And so for you watching and listening, you're probably like, yeah, Martine, Deb, I know exactly what you guys are talking about. Facebook groups. Listen, Facebook groups, I am a Facebook Leaders Network member. I love using Facebook. In fact, that's where I started my community. But we're here to say we are going above and beyond this whole Facebook group. We're talking about community as a whole. You mentioned, Deb, meetups, right? There's also other platforms, there's plenty of them now actually emerging in the market that are giving us the opportunity to create that community feel. And like you said, making sure that we're curating the right people inside, because that's the worst that could happen, right? Having the wrong members in a community, and then it becomes unhealthy, it's not safe, it's not about the mission anymore. And so you want, as a creator of your community, you want to make sure that you know exactly what the plan is for this group. And so let's piggyback and talk about this whole off social media community building. Because I know this is highly your expertise, honestly. Not that you wouldn't be able to help someone that wants to create a private Facebook group, because it's still a community. But I want to dive in a little bit more in regards to how else can someone can create a community if it's not using social.
Yeah. So just to point out, like Facebook and different Twitter and all of these different areas, they have some reasons and purposes why they might be a good solution for someone because there is a lot of people. However, thousands of people are leaving Facebook every day. So to say that everybody's there is not at all accurate in today's time. And when you're thinking about your community strategy, it really is an intentional choice of what do you want to feel when you're a community leader? What do you want your community members to feel? And the only way to identify those things is to kind of work through that yourself and then also talk to people in your existing network. And I call that discovery or ideal member interviews or doing a survey to really get feedback from those people who have the problem that you think you can solve in a community. And so there's some key components there before you look at a platform off of social media, which I think is super valuable to do. You want to make sure you have a problem that you can solve through a community with your background and expertise. And it's been validated because people have asked you. Because the worst thing you want to do is spend 6 months writing programming, building a course, doing launches, or all of these things. And then it's like you're throwing a party that nobody comes to because you're like, have these high, oh yeah, 50,000 people. I've got an audience of 50,000 people, and all these people are going to come in and have a party with me. No, that's not how it works. There's so many places to connect in this time frame. People need to be directed where to connect, and then they need to be told how to connect. So those are the two guidance pieces I would say before you look at all the myriad of platforms that are out there. But I think there's so many amazing platforms that have the ability for you to check them out, see if they're right for you. A lot of them have free trials to just kind of test the waters to see if it's something. All I would recommend there is like make sure you have like the 2 week time frame that you can actually dig in and like do it. But yeah, I would say knowing what you need before you look at platforms is one of the most important things. For example, if you know you want to have events and you want to use Zoom and you want to have Zoom integration, make sure that that platform offers events and that it integrates with Zoom. That's like a simple one, if
I
that
like
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. It's funny because I'm a professor at three different colleges right now, and just this morning I meant to share with you before we hit record. It's so funny. I got an email from one of the universities launching a community web platform. Well, they've contracted this platform to build the community of the university, if that makes sense. And
Yep.
I got a welcome email saying complete your profile as the professor. So as I was scrolling through the platform just to see what it potentially could do, the one thing that the university did, the first email we got was an email from the president advising exactly what is the strategy behind having this community. What are the goals? Why do we want this to happen for the university, right? And so it's exactly what you just shared, and I freaking love it because it's so important. Strategy, strategy, strategy. Have a plan first, then look for those platforms. There's so many of them. And just like on social, every platform does something different. You just got to know what you want, right? Visualize and then go ahead and create it. But guess what? You're not going to create this community by yourself. Deb is here to share with you that she can help you build that community. Remember at the top of the conversation, she wants you to be calm. She wants you to enjoy life. And having a community does take work. Maintaining it does take work. Growing it does take work. And if you're thinking at this point, you're still listening and watching, that means you're very much invested in this conversation. Well, hold on tight because Deb is about to share with you what she's sharing in the show notes and how you can connect with her and how she specifically can support you in building your community. And so, Deb, sending the mic over to you.
Thanks so much, Martine. Yeah, I'm happy to help with a free discovery call. You can grab the link in the show notes. 30 minutes to just chat about your community concept, get ideas or questions about community platforms, because that can be confusing. I'm happy to answer questions about some of the platforms that I'm familiar with as far as Mighty Networks goes. That's where my community is. And then Circle is another platform that I'm partnered with. So those two would be really good for creators because they're actually geared to and focused on people who are creators. So I'd be that those would be the things I could help you with for the free discovery call. Like I said, that'll be in the show notes.
Wonderful. I love it. And listen, check out the show notes. And even if you're not on social media, because you may be listening to this, watching this on Roku TV, Fire TV, wherever, YouTube, and you're like, I'm not active on social, that doesn't mean you cannot have a community. Okay. You can still influence and impact as many people as you want in the world. Because remember, the internet is a world wide web. You can impact so many people just because you're not on Instagram. Man, reach out to Deb. Have that free discovery call. Discuss with her your vision, and she'll help you create it. And so, with that, I would love to ask you a last question, Deb, before we end this episode. If there is one thing you would share with someone that's listening right now, watching, that's like, I need a boost. I need a motivation. I've been trying all these things and I get it, Deb. You are waking up here. You're looking great. Martine's here. You guys can do this. I can't. I don't have the confidence. With your experience and what you've gone through so far, Deb, what would you share with this person today that's pretty much ready to close the deal and say, yeah, nah, not for me?
So I would definitely say that if you're feeling frustrated or stressed, it's helpful to take a moment and just think about what you really want and then decide if that is a community. Sometimes just being a part of a community is the best way to start. So, what I would say is don't get it too ahead of yourself. See what communities you're already in. If you're not in a community, join one and find one that fits your interests. See what it's like for you as a community member, what you're experiencing, and then learn from that to be able to identify if community leadership is for you.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you for that advice. Really, really great. And congratulations to you listening and watching. You made it till the end. And I love that. Now, as a professor, I have to give you your homework. In every single episode, I give you a homework. And you probably know it by now if you've been on the show before listening and watching. Yo, you got to check the show notes. And not only are you going to check the show notes, you're going to connect with that. Check out where she is on social. Send her a message. Let her know that you watched or listened to this episode. We love to interact. We're all about community building, Deb in particular. And so the more she connects with you, the better. Take action. It's time to visualize and create. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I hope to see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much. Fantastic.
You have just listened or watched the Visualize and Create show. Don't forget to download our app and make sure to leave us a review. And before I go, I do want you to visit my website, martinecadet.com. Browse around. There's a lot of stuff in there. I have a store. I also have great services available for you so that you can visualize and create anything that you want. I will see you in the next episode.